It's not about the time
See,
you
I learned
spend.
everything the old school way, so
That's what everyone says. Okay, forget everything what you learn in school. Now you gotta learn from real life. And I always tell my students, well, if you forget what you learn here, you're gonna be in trouble.
right,
Okay?
yeah,
Because everything what I'm doing, I'm not only reviewing the handbook, but I'm trying to give you that experience that I've been through already.
right, yes, sir.
And was picking up a trailer, doubles, 2 a.m. And then when I got there, I said, okay, yes, there is only one set left. Yes, I got it. I mean, I'm lucky. Okay. But as I went around the trailer, I noticed that another truck was already in front of the trailer. But the driver that was there, so he was trying to get the trailer. He was trying to get the trailer, but every time he tried to connect the trailer, he was doing this,
Pushing it back.
pushing it back. He tried a couple times, and then after that, he gave up. He got out of his vehicle with a piece of paper. He wrote on the paper, "This trailer has no brakes," and taped it in front of the trailer so everybody can see it. This trailer has no brakes. And I'm like, hey, what's wrong with it? He goes, I don't know, but the trailer has no brakes, don't take it. I mean, I know why, right? So I asked him, can I try it? He said, don't you see it has no brakes, don't take it. I'm like, okay, can I try it? So he got mad, he pulled his truck out of the way. Then I brought my truck in, I positioned my truck again, right here, and did all the steps. After I did all the steps correctly, I was able to connect the trailer. I was able to check the brakes. Everything was working good, and I took the trailer with me. He was like, what did you do? I'm like, I don't know, but it works for me. And I asked, how long ago did you get your license? He goes, it's about 2 years. So no wonder. He's like, what do you mean? He listened to all these guys that said, forget everything what you learn in school and learn everything from the real life. And that was one of the problems. He tried to do what everyone does, and he couldn't get the trailer. The other thing is, a lot of drivers, when they drop the trailers, they struggle to pull the release handle because they forget one step. Also, they stop doing it outside. A lot of drivers, they can. What do they do? When they come here, all they want to do is come, boom, connect the trailer all the way. If the trailer is too high, the kingpin is gonna go past the fiddle and they get stuck.
It's
Now,
not fun.
to get out of the way, if you're a brand new driver, you're going to quit right there. You're gonna say this career is not for me. That it's not because you ran into that situation accidentally. It's because you did not follow the steps to do it correctly. If you ever forget the steps on how to do this, go back to the handbook. Actually, 6-9. Coupling and uncoupling. And they are numbered from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on until you do all the steps. How to couple the trailer safely. If you want to do uncoupling, that's page 11. Uncoupling. It's only 10 steps. If you follow those procedures, you ever forget, go back to the handbook. Carry a handbook with you. You can find it online also. Okay? But today, we're going to explain all these little details, all these steps to make sure it makes sense for you. You understand and it makes sense to make sure when you're out there, hopefully you remember this. That's the goal. Okay, so combination. First, I'm going to explain all the steps over here, and then we're going to read the book again, just like we did with the airbags. Okay, so I'm going to tell you first all the things the regular driver do outside. This is what you see outside. When they see you doing all the steps correctly, they know you're the new driver. And they will look at you, hey, you got your license right, because they know the way you're doing it. Hey, forget that. You don't need to do that. I said one thing they do, they come to the yard, they find the trailer, they want to go all the way under the trailer. Two things happen. Either they push the trailer backwards or the kingpin goes past the fifth wheel. If the trailer is too high, guess who are they going to blame it to?
The last driver.
To the last driver or to the yard hustler? The guy that is in the yard moving the trailers, they don't even touch the landing gear.
They can raise it.
They disconnect it, they can raise it and then move it on. But they got into that situation because they didn't get out and look. They don't like to stop, get out and look. So they come here, okay? Oh, I'm gonna save time. Get out, connect the airlines, landing gear, check lights, let's go. Even if you do the safe steps, the correct steps, it's gonna take the same time. But it's correctly, okay? So that's what they do. They don't like to get out and check the height of the trailer and adjust it as needed if it's too high or too low. That's one step. Remember the guy that was pushing the trailer backwards?
Mm-hmm.
Because he tried to do this, go all the way under the trailer. When the book says, get close enough, touch the fifth wheel a little bit. Why did the trailer move backwards?
Had no air pressure.
Because he had no air pressure. But mainly, let me put this up again, the brake chamber. But mainly because the trailer has no spring brakes. This is spring brakes. This is air brake only. This spring brakes. So after the guy said this trailer has no brakes, and then he let me try it, I positioned my truck right here, adjusted my trailer to the height, and then I checked my brake system. When I look at the brake system, I realized that the first trailer, the dolly converter, and the second trailer, none of them had spring brakes. They all had air brake chamber only. They had a small brake chamber. So the book says the air leaks away. You need the mechanical force to hold the spring brakes. I mean, the vehicle from moving, which is the spring brake, the mechanical force. Okay, the fluid can leak away. The air leaks away. So the trailer's been sitting for a while. I don't know, 2 weeks, 2 nights, whatever. The air is gone. So because it's only air brakes, so the trailer had no brakes. That's why when he tried to connect, he kept pushing the trailer backwards. So what I did, the only change I did, I connected my airlines, supply air to the trailer by pushing the red knob in for a few seconds to charge the air tanks on the trailer and then apply the trailer brakes. I did that, and then when I connected my trailer, I had no issues. I had no problem. And then he kept asking me for 2 weeks, what did I do? All right, that's connecting the trailer. Now uncoupling the trailer. So the trailer is connected. Then we're gonna follow, I'm gonna explain to you the right steps, okay? So now dropping off the trailer. When they come to the yard, you park it, you're gonna drop the trailer. What the drivers do, set the brakes and jump out of the truck and disconnect. When they jump out of the truck, they disconnect the airlines, they disconnect the release handle, and finally they put the landing gear down, right? Because according to them, they're saving time by covering everything as they go. All at once, yes. And then when they get to the release handle, they realize that they cannot pull the handle, they're struggling, they have to go inside the truck stop to buy an extra pull bar to pull the release handle because it's too tight. Especially again, if it's a new driver, again, it's like, I don't know if this career is for me.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yeah.
You will see that.
I've seen it a couple times. People just quit and just walk away.
There you go. All right. So it's one step. There is one thing they forgot over here. Open the book on 6:11. That's for uncoupling. Got it?
Yes.
What's step number 2?
Is the pressure from the locking jar?
Is the pressure from the locking jar. So it's telling you before you jump out of the truck, lock the trailer brakes with the red knob out, and then slightly back up against the trailer to get the pressure off of the fifth wheel. So when you pull the handle, it's going to be nice and smooth. That's the only step they forget. That's the only step they forget, and then do the rest. And then also, then lock the parking brake again. Then get out. Don't take the airlines off yet. Don't take the handle yet. Make sure you secure the landing gear of the trailer first, because this is another thing that happens. Let's say you take the release handle, the airlines, the release handle, and then you receive a phone call from a person, and you start arguing with this person over the phone, with your boss, dispatcher. Somebody said with the girlfriend. I don't know if that's true. Something came back to his memory. Okay,
It happens,
so you.
that's why.
Oh, really?
I'm like, no, I'm like, it happens, that's why.
It doesn't happen to me though.
No.
Okay, so you disconnect the airlines, you disconnect the release handle, but the landing gear is still up, and then you start that argument over the phone, and then you go back inside the truck and pull forward.
Seen it happen. The truck stopped at the flying.
Is
J.
that an accident?
Fine.
Is that an accident? No, because you did not follow the safety steps. Another thing, maybe you pull the release handle only, you drop the trailer, and you rip the airlines. Also, again, because you did not follow the safety steps. It's not because you forgot, but that's what all the drivers told you outside. Learn from the real life. Forget what you learned in school. Okay, so what will be the safety steps? Get out, put the landing gear first, secure the unit, take the airlines off, then pull the release handle. Then after you do that, you're gonna pull forward. When you pull forward, there's another thing the drivers don't like to do. You are supposed to stop right here, and get out and look. Make sure the fifth wheel is clear from the trailer to check that the landing gear is supporting and holding the trailer safely on the floor or the ground is strong enough to hold the trailer. Okay? But the drivers don't stop right here. They just want to get out.
Just take off.
Just take off. Then that way, if the landing gear is damaged or something, if the trailer falls, it's gonna fall onto the truck frame, and it's gonna be easier to correct it or fix it. Okay, so that's why. And after you make sure that the landing gear is secure, it's strong enough, then you're good to go. That's the procedure. Okay, but I didn't explain all the proper steps for the coupling. Let me go back again, real quick. Now it's gonna be following the procedures. I come to pick up the trailer. Number 1, position your vehicle, or inspect your fifth wheel. Make sure the fifth wheel is properly greased, no missing parts. The release handle is out. Go back to 6-9. Yes. Okay. So the steps. Okay. So number 1, it says inspect the fifth wheel. Make sure it's properly greased, no missing parts, and make sure the fifth wheel is tilted down towards the trailer. To make sure it's gonna go under the trailer and close the gap. There's gonna be no gaps in between. Okay, and then inspect the area. Obviously, inspect the area to make sure there's no nails or anything that you're gonna be driving on. And then it says check the wheels. Which wheels? The trailer wheels, just in case you have no spring brakes. So the trailer is gonna stay in place, so it doesn't happen to you like this guy. He was trying to go under the trailer, and he kept pushing the trailer. Okay, position the truck. Position the truck means get close enough, touch the fifth wheel with the trailer, okay, and make sure the side of the tires is even with the trailer. That's how you know it's properly positioned. Okay, get close without going under. Just get close enough, and then you're gonna get out, secure the truck, obviously. Then step number 6, check the height of the trailer. Okay, you're gonna check the height of the trailer. Either if it's too high, adjust it, lower it. If it's too low, raise it again as needed with the landing gear, obviously. But stop right here. This is what the drivers don't like to do. Okay, after this, connect the airlines. Connect the red line and connect the blue line to the trailer. Doing a 90-degree angle on the gland hands. After we watch the book, read the book, we're gonna watch a video, okay, about this, how to do it. Then supply, get inside the cab. Before you go under, go inside the cab and push the red knob in. To charge the air tank on the trailer and apply the trailer brakes. And then lock the brakes again, pulling this out. And then, only then you can back up. And then back up, then you make sure the trailer is secure. After you do that, you're going to inspect the connection first. Remember you adjusted the landing gear of the trailer? You lower it, it was too high. So when it goes under, make sure it raises at least a couple inches. So when you close the fifth wheel, the landing gear is gonna go up again. It's not gonna be dragging against on the ground because you're gonna be doing your tug test. Remember the tug test? You guys see that this morning with these guys? So you're gonna put forward and check the trailer is connected. That's your tug test. Making sure the trailer is connected. And then get out and inspect the coupling system. What are you looking on the coupling system? To make sure the locking jaws are close around the shank, make sure there is no gap between the fifth wheel and the trailer. If there is a gap, it might be locked on the wrong spot, on the kingpin. The kingpin, it's like this on the trailer. This is the head, this is the shank, and the base. So it should be locked around the shank of the kingpin, not on the head, because if you lock on the head, at the first jump, it's gonna disconnect from, it's gonna fall off of the ground. I had a guy, a co-worker, many years ago. He came to the yard, picked up a trailer, and took off, and he never did inspection. 5 minutes later, he called, "Hey, can you guys send someone over here at the ramp on Waterloo in 99 South? What happened? I dropped the trailer." Because he didn't do the coupling system correctly. The trailer was too high, so he locked the locking jaws on the head, not on the shank. So the first jump on the road, it fell off. That's what you adjust the trailer height. And this is a real life situation, okay? So after you do the coupling, the torque test, you check the connection, you good? Then you're gonna get out, only then you're going to connect the electrical cord. Why you did not connect the electrical cord with the airlines? Because the electrical cord has a safety latch that is gonna hold it in place. If you connected that with the airlines and then instead of going backwards you go forward, the airlines are gonna come off, but the electrical will not because the latch is holding it in place, and then you damage the electrical cord. That's why you do that after everything is secure. And then check the lights. Obviously, at this point, you're going to raise the landing gear, inspect the landing gear, make sure it has enough space between the frame and the landing gear, so it clears when you make left or right turns. Raise the landing gear all the way up, check the lights, and you're good to go. That's the coupling. Okay, raise the landing gear, check the lights, you're good to go. You're good. Okay, you go to LA, anywhere you go, you're gonna drop the trailer. You come, find the spot, park the trailer. What's the first thing we're gonna do? Lock the trailer brakes, and then what's step number 2? Not yet. Ease up the pressure. Back up against the trailer a little bit. Back up against the trailer. Then get out. Put the landing gear down. Take the airlines and electrical cord off, and then pull the release handle. In that order: landing gear, airlines, electrical cord, and release handle. Then pull forward again. Just clear the trailer and get out and check. Make sure the landing gear is supporting the trailer. The trailer is not touching the fifth wheel to make sure it's strong enough. Okay, without going all the way out. Once everything is good, then you're good to go. The combination, we're gonna be covering these 5 points. How to safely drive, obviously with a combination vehicle, with a trailer. How the air brakes work and the combination. The ABS, the same thing. We already know how to check the ABS. The coupling and uncoupling, I said earlier, that's the part that a lot of drivers, once they get their license, once they go to school, that's the part they change the way they do it. And then when it comes to renewal, that's the part they cannot pass because they want to answer the test in the way they do it outside. Okay, section number 6. The first part is obviously we have more risks of rollover. Okay, it says right here fully loaded. Okay, don't get confused because a lot of times you get confused. Fully loaded rigs are 10 times more likely to roll over. You may think that it's heavy, so it should be less likely, but that's what the book says. You can do 2 things to prevent this. One thing is keep the cargo as close to the ground as possible, and obviously go slow around the turns. Okay, this is section number 6 of the handbook. Section number 6. Okay, the other thing is steer gently. Obviously, remember you have a trailer, you have a load. So when I teach my guys going over the railroad crossing, going around the turn, slow down. Why do I slow down? Hey, remember you're gonna have a load on your trailer. You're gonna have a load in the trailer. You don't want to spill all the packages, okay, on your trailer. That's why you gotta go slow, because every time you move the steering wheel left or right, quick, you're gonna have an effect going back like a wave. Then it's gonna affect the back of the trailer more as you go. That's the rear wheel amplification. Okay, so slow down. Okay, also because you have a trailer, make sure you have the following distance. Remember, 1 second for each 10 feet of your vehicle's length. Slow down. In other words, slow down. Always keep your following distance and go slow. Okay, to the next page. Next page. Obviously, brake early at the railroad highway crossing. Remember we talked about this yesterday also? If the railroad crossing is elevated, so you have a lot of risk. You can get stuck on it. The low slung units, lowboy, car carriers, moving van, or possum belly livestock trailer, any trailer that is low. Even a single axle tractor pulling a trailer, if the landing gear is not all the way up, it can also get stuck in that area. So slow down and make sure. Go over cautiously. Okay. Next page. How to prevent the trailer skids. What is a trailer skid? That's why we call it the trailer jackknife. Okay, that's why we call it the trailer jackknife. When the trailer is empty, you have the greater risk of jackknife. Okay, so we have a figure right here. Let me make it small a little bit. Right there, you can see the 2 arrows. What happens when the steering wheels start skidding, and what happens when the trailer tires skids? The steering wheels, it will always continue in a straight line, but when the trailer is going to go sideways. Even when you come to stop, you slam on the brakes, the trailer brakes are loose, it's going to slide sideways also, or if it's wet. And if you have vehicles parked on the side, you can hit those vehicles. Okay? Same thing with the dry wheels skidding, but right now we're focused on the trailer only. Okay? So how to know what's going on with your trailer? The only way to know what's going on with the trailer, look at your mirrors. Look at your mirrors constantly. I had a class driving yesterday. I said, check your mirrors, check your traffic. Do I have to? Well, you got to know what's going on with your trailer. When you come to stop, you got to make sure that there is no bicyclist hanging on your trailer trying to get a ride. Okay, especially on the DMV test day. Okay, and recognize everything through the mirrors. On the right-hand side, what to do if that happens, if the trailer or anything starts skidding. It says right here, stop using the brakes, because you're gonna make it worse. You're gonna lock up the wheels and then it's gonna slide faster or it's gonna bounce. back. So don't step on the brakes. If you have a manual transmission, push in the clutch to free the drive wheels, try to gain power again. Okay, and everything. Okay, also turn wide. We saw yesterday because of the off tracking. You need to make wider turns because if you have a trailer, especially if you have a 53-footer trailer, the front wheels are going to be far to the left, but the trailer tires are going to be close to the sidewalk on the right hand side. Obviously, don't go too far out also because otherwise the traffic behind may think that you change your mind and they can get on your side and you can cause an accident inside. So turn wide as you complete the turn right here. If you stay to the right, it says right here, this will stop other drivers from passing you on the right. If you cannot complete your turn without entering another traffic lane, turn wide as you complete the turn. Okay, so slow down, check your mirrors. Remember we said yesterday about the mirror adjustment? Know where the trailer tires are. So you always know and don't hit anything, okay? Again, this is the same figure we saw yesterday. It's telling us how to make the right turn. Don't swing out before. Always after you start turning, watch the trailer tires on the sidewalk. Okay, let's go to the next page. Combination air brakes. How the combination air brakes works in the combination. The trailer hand valve. We talked about it right earlier about the hand valve. It's gonna be one question. Says some drivers before they step on the foot brake, they use the hand valve before stepping on the foot brake. What should you do? So don't use the hand valve to slow down. That's only to check the service brake on the trailer. So never use, it should not be done. Never use the hand valve to slow down. Okay, so the hand valve, what it does, when you step on the brake, how many brake controls do we have inside? We said we have the service brake, the parking brake, and the trailer brake, and in this case we have the trailer hand valve. So inside the vehicle, let me pull this again over here to the front. So the service brake, which is the foot brake, it applies all the brakes on the truck and the trailer to slow down. That's why when you come to a stop, you slow down. It's really smooth, especially if you have air ride. Okay. So you apply all the brakes at the same time. When you touch the parking brake, you only operate the truck brakes. And when you push the red or apply the red knob, you only operate the trailer brakes. What about the trailer hand valve? When you use the trailer hand valve, it uses the service brakes only on the trailer only. Okay, on the trailer only, the service brakes. What's the difference between the service brakes? The brake chamber, right? Okay, so again, the tractor protection valve, I explained earlier that the tractor protection valve, anytime you see this question, they're basically asking you about the trailer resupply. It's the same thing. It has two functions. The red one, it is the trailer resupply and the emergency brakes on the trailer, but when it's out, it's acting as the tractor protection valve because it's protecting the air leak from the truck. Okay, all right, so the trailer airlines, we already talked about the service. That's the airline, the one we use with the foot brake. The red line we use with the red knob to the trailer. It has two purposes: to supply air to the air tanks of the trailer and controls the emergency brakes on the trailer also. And then it says right here, loss of air pressure in the emergency line causes the emergency brakes to come on. Not only in the emergency line, anytime you have an air leak, that's the first thing that will activate the trailer emergency brakes. Okay, anytime. The air leak can be on the emergency line or can be on the service system. Okay, hose couplers, next page. The hose couplers, we call them the glide hands. It says right here, when connecting the glide hands, press the two seals together with the couplers at a 90-degree angle to each other. And we can see in the figure right here, that's what it looks like, the glide hands when they're disconnected. And then in the middle, this is what it looks like when they are connected. Right here, I'm gonna go ahead and do a short video about we're gonna play a video. So we have to do a 90-degree angle. Okay, so the hands. So 90-degree angles, which means you have to put it at this angle right here, seal to seal. 90-degree angle from each other, and then back it. Okay, it should be even over here to make sure it's safely connected. Okay, that's it. Now let me go back over here. Look at my hand over here. I'm holding the air hose behind this part right here. But when I press on it, I move my hand over the metal part. Right here, let me see. Right there. I'm holding the metal part.
Break the hose.
There you go. Because if I push it down from the hose only, if the weather is cold, if it's plastic, the airline is plastic, most of them, it's really easy to damage the airline. And then if I damage that airline, that means I need to go to the store and get another set of airlines. But imagine if you get this line damaged 500 miles away from Reno in January, and the mountain, you have no phone signal on a Friday at 5 p.m., and you couldn't get to your destination to pick up the load. Not only Friday, imagine it's a Wednesday before Thanksgiving. And you're gonna call the highway patrol? They will probably ask, do you have food? Yeah, I have food. You have water? Yeah.
All right.
Call road service tomorrow.
Yeah.
For real.
I'm telling you, it happened to me once. Not because of the airline, but I got stuck in the snow. I only went about 3 feet too far back and lost traction of my tire. I had to wait 24 hours until road service showed up. Okay? So, does that make sense?
Yeah.
I had one class in Sacramento many years ago. They damaged the red line twice in 1 week. After the second time, they came, oh, the airline is leaking. I had to go outside and say, show me what you guys are doing. That's what they were doing. They were holding the airline from the back and pushing it down and damaging the airline. So that's why, be careful also the way you hold the airlines, okay? Because that can be a problem. All right, let's go back to the handbook again. Okay, so that's the airlines. Also, sometimes you do everything right, but then at the time you're trying to take off, the trailer brake is not releasing. It's not moving. One possible thing, you probably cross the airlines. So instead of sending air to the brake chambers, to the spring brakes, you're sending pressure to the service brakes. So the spring brakes don't release. Okay? So that's okay, you can fix it. Or maybe you didn't build the pressure enough to get out. But the bad thing is when you use older trailers that do not have spring brakes, they can move forward without using the air. Remember the guy that was pushing the trailer backwards? He had no air. He still kept pushing the trailer because he had no spring brakes. So even if you connect the airlines and the incorrect glide hand, you're going to be able to drive away, but you're going to have no brakes when it comes to slow down because he has no spring brakes. So be careful. But the good thing is that this trailer, in order to not have spring brakes, needs to be older than 1975. But remember the trailer that had no spring brakes? So that's probably older than 1975. So it's still operable. Okay? So be careful. Make sure you do not cross the airlines also. Okay? All right. Okay, next page. Trailer service parking and emergency brakes. The emergency brake comes on whenever the air pressure in the emergency line is lost. Again, the trailer have no parking brake, only emergency brake. A major leak in the emergency line, which is the red one, will cause the tractor protection valve to close and the trailer emergency brakes to come on. Obviously, anytime you have an air leak, I said, the emergency brakes are going to come on first. You may not notice a major leak in the service line, which is the blue one, until you put on the brakes. That's why the importance of stopping at the brake check area to check the brakes, right? You're going to find out that the service line is leaking going down the hill. Okay, next page, I think it's going to be the ABS. We already know how to check the ABS. You check for the light on the dashboard, the light on the trailer, on the side of the trailer, driver's side. And that's how you know how to check the ABS. Okay, steps of the coupling and uncoupling. This is going to be the last part. The procedure, we already explained the steps. Okay, coupling and uncoupling. Step number 1, inspect the fifth wheel. What do you check for? Make sure it's properly greased to prevent steering problems. And make sure it's tilted down towards the rear of the tractor or towards the trailer. Number 2, inspect the area. Make sure there's no nails, nothing on the ground that can damage your tires and everything. Position the truck, which means bring the truck close to the trailer without going under the trailer. Get close enough. Line up the side of the truck tires with the side of the trailer. That's how you know it's a proper position. Then get out. Obviously, set the brakes. Back slowly, secure the tractor. And then get out to check the trailer height. Okay? If the trailer is too high, raise the landing gear to lower it. If it's too low, lower the landing gear to raise the trailer. Okay? And also check that the kingpin is and the fifth wheel are aligned. It's gonna go to the center. How to adjust the fifth wheel? If this is the fifth wheel, right here, make sure the trailer is right at the center. So when you go under, make sure it's gonna close the gap in between. Because if it's too low, you're gonna hit the trailer. If it's too high, you're gonna go past the fifth wheel, okay? And that way, also, you're gonna make sure that the landing gear is gonna raise up a little bit, so when you do your tug test, it's gonna be off the ground, okay? And then at this point, before you go under the trailer, after you adjust the trailer, connect the air lines, only air lines. Why? To supply air to the trailer brakes. How do you supply air to the trailer brakes? Go inside and push the red knob in. That's the actual action that supplies air. A lot of people answers, how do you supply air to the trailer? Oh, connecting the air lines. You connect the air lines, but it has no air until you push the knob in, okay? Obviously, it has to be a normal air pressure. And then lock the trailer brakes again. Pull it out. Then back up under the trailer until you connect the trailer. You hear the click on the fifth wheel. And then check the connection for security. Raise the landing gear slightly off the ground, or if you did it before on the adjustment, it might be off the ground already. And pull the truck forward gently against the trailer to make sure the trailer coupling is locked onto the kingpin. Okay, and then secure the vehicle again. Obviously, place it in neutral if you have a manual transmission. Okay, set the brakes and then inspect the coupling. What do you check on the coupling system? On the coupling system, specifically, you're making sure that the release handle is closed, but the locking lever, safety latch, make sure it's over the locking lever. So this is the lever of the release handle. You see this one right here? So it may have a little latch it's on the side when it's out, but once it goes in, it's gonna slide over to hold it in place, just in case it pops out. Okay, make sure that the safety latch is over the locking lever. Okay, and then at this point, after the trailer is properly and safely connected, only then you connect the electrical cord. Remember, because if you connect it with the air lines, if you go forward, then you can damage the electrical line. But at this point, it's everything secure, so there is no way you can damage the air line. At this point, raise the trailer support, which is the landing gear, okay, and make sure it's all the way up. Make sure it has enough clearance between the rear of the truck frame and the landing gear so you don't hit it when you make turns. At this point, if you check the wheels, remove the chuck wheels and take off, and that's it. That's the coupling and then coupling. Now uncoupling. That's the coupling. Now uncoupling. Now you come to the yard. You park the trailer first, obviously. Make sure you lock the trailer brakes. Lock the trailer brakes only. How do you lock the trailer brakes, Javier?
Release the
Pull the red knob out. Only, not the yellow one. Because you need to ease the pressure on the locking jaws. How? With the trailer brakes locked, back up against the trailer to get the pressure off of the release handle. And then again, if needed, you check the wheels on the trailer. You shouldn't need it because you recently came, it has air. Okay, but if you need to, check the wheels. Lower the landing gear first. This is the thing, a lot of drivers, they change the way. They change the way doing things outside. Landing gear first, then disconnect the air lines and the electrical cord. Finally, step number 6, unlock the fifth wheel. Then, after everything, all these 3 things are secure, you pull forward to make sure you clear the trailer. Stop with the tractor frame still under the trailer to check the landing gear, to get out and check the landing gear. Set the trailer brakes, obviously. In neutral again, inspect the landing gear. Make sure the landing gear is supporting the trailer and it's not damaged. After, you make sure the landing gear is holding the trailer in place. Pull off, pull the tractor, clear the trailer, and you're good to go. That's a process. If you ever forget this, remember, carry a handbook with you, coupling and uncoupling, and review the steps. Or watch the video again. Okay. All right. How to inspect the coupling. So this is what's under the trailer. That's the kingpin. This is the base. This is the shank right here, the skinny part. That's the shank of the kingpin. And this is the head. Make sure it's locked around the shank to keep it in place. Because if it locks on the head, remember, it can fall off when driving. That's the inspection. So this concludes the combination, section number 6.